All right, so today we're gonna get vulnerable. Today I'm gonna get vulnerable. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about rehab. Not really a rehab romance, but today, man, we're gonna talk about the last girlfriend I had. This was in 2019, and we're gonna talk about how I met her while I was in treatment. I didn't meet her in treatment. So I was in rehab for 4 months, and towards the end of my 4 months, I got to take a class at the University of Arizona, and that class was to get certified as a recovery support specialist. And so, I was really looking forward to taking that course for so many reasons. I took that course with my roommate at the rehab, and it was so much fun. Um, I guess one of the main reasons why, the two main reasons why we were looking forward to taking this class is, for one, it would give us the opportunity to get a job after getting out of treatment, and two, it gave us the opportunity to leave the rehab campus, right? Just to get off property for a while. So, yeah, so we did that, right? Took that class. That class was about a good month long, about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. So we did that, man. While I was there, we were the only people in rehab. So every morning, during the week, they took us in the rehab van, a big rehab van. They took us to the university, right? University area. And just going on those drives daily, just waking up, still having my routine, waking up, working out, eating, and then making sure we have everything for this class, right? So, we did that, hopped in the van, went to this class. So that was fun. I'd say within maybe about a week, I saw this girl. I noticed this girl, and on our smoke breaks, I think we had like about two breaks, and during our breaks, we'd all be outside, just talking to a few people, smoking a cig, and I noticed this girl looking at me, right? And I was looking at her too, mainly because she was looking at me. So, you know, fast forward a couple days. Um, this one day we sat next to each other, right? And you just feel that tension, that tension, like you wanna just stop what you're doing and just have some time with this person, right? You just want to talk, get to know this person. And it was fun, it was real fun. Started off like small talk. Um, I guess a little bit of flirting, whatever. Nothing crazy, nothing raunchy, nothing like that. But we did that. Um, and then I think we had some post-its there. We had some like small little rectangular post-its that we would put in between books and paperwork and all that, just to remind us of what to read for that night, for homework, whatever. So I don't remember who initiated the first one, but it led to like sharing candy and all that. She knew I was in rehab. She knew my roommate was in rehab. And it was fun. We just started like hanging out more and all that, right? Anyway, back to the Post-its. Um, I don't remember who initiated it first, but we'd write like little notes or whatever, like hi or something like that, right? Like I say, for example, I'd write it, and then she would sit next to me, and whenever the instructor wasn't looking our way, I'd put it on her notebook, and then turned into notes and all that. Anyway, so we exchange information this one day. I call her from the rehab, and that was fun. That was really cool having someone to look forward to, and like, of course, I felt confident. I felt solid, like in my recovery. I felt like I was strong enough to head down this path. Um, and then emotions and all of that kind of, took over us both, especially after the conversations, on the phone conversations. And then that led to me um, sneaking in my phone. Um, when we come back from the class, we're supposed to turn in our phone if we have, and then just enjoy the rest of the day in rehab, right? But I knew some of the staff there, and there'd be days where the cool staff wasn't there, so I'd have to sneak in my phone, turn the volume down, notifications down, all that, just to keep it low key, right? So yeah, so that led to me taking my focus off of my recovery, not fully, but I was like, with everything going on, that kind of shifted my focus to where I started catching feelings. So did she, and that was taking my main focus off of my recovery. I can't say my full focus was not on my recovery, because I still have my routine, solid routine. I'd still help people every day and all that, right? So yeah, we obviously get to know each other more. Um, and then it got to the point where she was picking me up from the rehab on some of the weekends, and that was for like a family visit time, right? Like a family visit type thing. And so that was cool. I'd be substituting time with my family to hang out with this girl who eventually became my girlfriend. And yeah, so that became a frequent thing, just because it was fun. I was still not healthy. Of course I was healthy, but I was still like new to everything. Was just so intense, so pure, right? I was like fragile inside, obviously, because I was numb for so long from the drugs. And then once I started getting clean, all my levels like inside were just starting to like recalibrate. My testosterone was coming back fiercely, and it was just so much fun. I felt like everything was just so raw, and that I think that sped up, that expedited the whole relationship, the whole process, that expedited everything inside of me, basically, right? Um, Damn, this is so weird to talk about. I wasn't gonna do a video on this because I don't know if she watches this stuff. I told her about the channel, but anyway, yeah. So it was fun, right? I'd be hanging out with her every weekend, and then seeing her the next day on the Monday morning, right at the class, and see her, blah blah blah. So yeah, we did that for a while, and then I get out of treatment, right? And so, we hang out a little more and all that stuff, and then that relationship just didn't work out because there'd be nights where I'd sleep at her house, right? I'd wake up, and then there was a LA Fitness across the street, so I was still on top of my routine. So I'd leave her apartment early in the morning, go across the street to work out, and then come back to her apartment. And there'd be some mornings where, or this one morning, I would see her just laying on bed, and she looked like inebriated, right? She looked sedated. She looked hammered, and I think she was like abusing her medication. I don't know what type of medication was on. I'm sure she had like some, well, she did have like some mental health issues, and so yeah, like just me being on top of my game, like my physical game at that time in my life, like I didn't want to have to deal with, I didn't want to have to worry about that. I was really trying to get my life together at that time, and I didn't want to have to worry about that. I didn't want to have to babysit this girl. I didn't even want to have that conversation. So, like, I never, like, till this day, I never got a full answer as to, what she was on, you know? Um, all I got at that time was like, I'm fine. What are you talking about? But no, like this one time she was driving me home, she hit a curb, and even before then, like we got in her truck, she'd back up, and I think she hit like another curb or something like that, like a parking curb or something, dude. And I didn't want to have to deal with that at all. So all of that like turned me off. Like I didn't want. I don't know, man. We're just on different pages, right? Just different levels, different stages in our life. I was in like repair mode, still refining myself. Like I said, all the feelings were raw. So like that just hit me, man. Like it kind of turned me off. Like, what are you doing? Just seeing her laying down on the bed, just looking hammered, right? I was like, I came back, and just seeing that just turned me off. I was like, just take me home, man. And so, I didn't call her back that night. So, or answer any text messages. I was just still trying to figure out what I want to do. And so ultimately I had to cut her off, man. Like of course I was in love. Like when you're in love. Some people say, "Oh, I thought I was in love." But I mean, I was in love like to that extent probably about 3 times. I think about 3 times. And so maybe 4, whatever. But yeah, everything, so that is that whole situation, man. Like anything that you hear in this story, I don't advise. I don't advise varying off your recovery, especially within the first year or at all. Of course, you could take on different challenges and relationships and emotions and stuff later down the road after the first year for sure. Because, like I said, everything is still raw. You know, everything was just so raw and so brand new in a way. Like it felt like I was in love for the first time. Like it just felt so good. Like when you have someone to look forward to, it's like one of the greatest things in the world, for me at least. I just love little things like just laying down watching a movie, like cuddling and stuff, laughing, doing things for each other, you know, just stuff like that. But like I said, I do not advise any of what I did within your first year of sobriety or clean time, because you're really fragile at that point. I was fragile at that point. I'm just super thankful what went down. Like, there was one thing that really set me off, and I don't, it's kind of hard to talk about, but when I broke up with her, she got really upset, and all I'm gonna say is she hurt herself, and she didn't get to stay in her apartment. You know, she didn't go to jail, but she was away for a few days or a week or however long it was, right? Um, and that was good for her. You know, that gave her time to recenter and refocus. That was the first time I ever dealt with something like that. She hurt herself. She she's still around, nothing crazy. She didn't expire. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really careful as to how I'm explaining this part, because I don't want it to trigger anybody, and I don't want to put all her business out there. But I feel just saying this would be good for other people, whoever, you know, if this doesn't apply to you, whatever. Just, I hope you enjoy the story. Hit the like button too. Um, but yeah, man, like, the main message is in this video is I do not recommend doing anything that I did. You know, I'm just super thankful I didn't get set off. I'm super thankful I didn't relapse. I'm super thankful I didn't get triggered like in a craving way when I saw her sedated, right? Like, I'm just glad I didn't, I'm glad that didn't trigger me to want to party, you know. And I'm glad I'm glad I was still solid at that time, and I'm glad as to where I am today. You know, it's a day by day process. You know, all I had to do was get through that day, which I did, and deal with the next day, whatever challenges are, you know, whatever challenges happen the next day. Deal with those then. So, I don't recommend anything. I'm emphasizing this. I do not recommend anything I did, especially in your first year. I don't recommend sneaking in phones in rehab, because that could backfire too. That could totally backfire too. You know, there's so many situations. If you work in rehab or you've been in rehab, you know what I'm talking about. There's just so many bad things that could have happened. You know, I could have just said, screw it. I'm going with her. I'm good. I could have AMA'd, right? Against medical advice. Just, I could have left rehab and started a whole new life. Who knows where I would have been, you know? So, just stay solid. That's the message. Stay solid. Stay solid. Thanks for listening.